Welcome, everybody, to the Indiana Basketball Weekly Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your co-host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I want to welcome in my two other co-hosts. We'll start off with a man who petitioned for years to get to the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, and they finally let him in when he sat out in front and refused to leave until he got in. Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Hi, Mike. Hi, Collin.
All right, and of course, we also have a true Indiana basketball legend, Collin Hartman. How you doing, Collin?
I wouldn't go as far as a legend, but I played a little bit. I'm doing well. How you doing, Mike?
It bothers Risley when I do that. Indiana last night beat Southern Indiana 96-62 in their exhibition leading up to Tuesday night's game against Chicago State. Steve, what were your takeaways on the game?
It was an exhibition game.
He's bitter.
Yes, it was an exhibition game, Steve. What did you think of the exhibition game, Steve?
It was boring.
Okay. I'll go to Mr. Hartman now, who will probably have a little bit more sensible take on this game. And the thing that stood out to me was Rob Finisi, Romeo Langford, Demazi Anderson, all made a significant impact. And we've talked about in the past, for this team to be successful, this is what needs to happen. And Finisi, to me, was the player of the game. I mean, he scored 13 points, 4 assists. And the big thing to me, Collin, was no turnovers in 28 minutes.
Yeah. That's one thing that I knew we'd get out of Rob is just solid guard play. I think that's going to be one of the things. And I said it a few weeks ago, he'll be a great player for us, especially if he can, not get in his own way. And that's not turn the ball over. If he can keep that assist to turnover ratio really high, then we'll be a very, very good team for it. And another take that I took from it was that I think is it's good for the fans to see and to notice is a guy like Romeo Langford diving on the floor for loose balls. I don't know if you guys saw that. He had 2 back-to-back plays where he made defensive plays. He stole the ball the first time he stole the ball clean, and then the second time he had to dive on the floor, poke it loose for a teammate to get it. It's just things like that where you see a guy who's so highly touted and highly recruited to come out of high school to have the humbleness and, understand that the game is bigger than you and it can eat you up if you try to play too nonchalant or too cool. And I think through my time there, sometimes guys would try to do that, play too cool, play too nonchalant, and it doesn't get you anywhere on the court. So I think it's very encouraging, at least in my eyes, just because that's the kind of stuff that I did was diving on the floor to see a guy like Romeo Langford who's not above diving on the floor and laying his body on the line for his team, especially even in an exhibition game.
We'll see if we can get Steve to participate now. Steve, I thought the first half, the defense looked very good, held the Screaming Eagles to 25% shooting and just 0.53 points per possession in the first half. The second half, however, was a different story. What was your take on the defense?
I felt that I'm really pleased with our perimeter defense. I think that Langford and Rob Finisi are going to be tough. They're quick. Like Collin said, they're going after it. They're trying to make the steals. They're putting pressure on above the 3-point line, which is what you need to do to disrupt offenses, because the offenses always start above the 3-point line, then you work it in and then kick it back to get your 3-point shots. And if you're disrupting the play outside the 3-point line, you're wreaking havoc on an offense right off the bat. A couple of the guys didn't play. Devontae didn't play due to either an illness or an injury. We're not sure which it was, but I don't think it was disciplinary.
Yeah,
but
Green is a
you
thigh
add him
injury.
in the mix. Thigh injury? Okay, good to hear. I think our perimeter play impressed me. Our perimeter defense impressed me immensely. Internally, defensively, we got work to do. We were okay. I think that getting Fitzner really impressed me, and I think he could be a really big presence inside when he just gets comfortable playing the game. I really liked this play a lot. I thought he impressed me more than any inside play. So defensively, I was okay with it. We seemed to cover positions well. I didn't like the fact that I didn't see a lot of blocking out. We tended to out-rebound people with athleticism, not with technical skill. So I think that's going to be critical for our inside play, but I'm very impressed with our perimeter defense. That's going to carry you right there. I think we did disrupt – in the first half, I think we sincerely disrupted Southern Indiana's shooting abilities. They couldn't get a shot off to save their tail. And I think they went one time – they maybe had 2 or 3 out of 4 possessions where they got the shot clock went off on them. And that was due to our defensive perimeter pressure. So that was very impressive from the great start, and that impressed me more about our freshmen than anything else they did.
Yeah, and after a standout junior season, Collin, I think expectations are huge for Juwan Morgan. And I didn't think he was that assertive in the first half. I think he changed and was in the second half. But he's got to be consistent with this, and I think he's the guy that in the low post almost has to demand the ball.
Right. And that's one of the things Coach Miller and the whole team knows that he needs to touch the ball almost on every possession. That doesn't mean he has to shoot or score it. We'd like for him to score it. But just him having the ball and his presence on the court is going to make the defense respect it, whether he shoots the ball or not. The defense's eyes are always going to be on him, so that'll open it up to, he'll have more options whether he does want to score and make the defense make a decision and he can kick it because he's got great vision. But yeah, I think he can't get to points in the game or in his career throughout the season to where he's passive because his aggressiveness, he almost needs to be selfish to a certain extent just because it's such a high percentage when he touches the ball. And I think that he's kind of feeling his spot right now, but he's got to get that figured out really quick. And I think that I don't think he'll battle with the whole selfish thing very long, just because the whole team's going to know that the team is in better hands if the ball is in his hands most of the time. A guy like him, Romeo, because all the guys can play. They can all shoot. The young guys really, really stood out to me, obviously. They really stepped up, and they've, at least in this first exhibition game, obviously the talent is going to get better that we're playing against. But they really stepped into the shoes of, almost veteran players and knocking down shots and knocking down open shots and not playing timid or scared or nervous or anything like that. Hopefully they get a lot of those butterflies out. But having Juwan, be assertive from the get-go and not take half a season to get through and okay, I need to, be more assertive. But he knows that, and it's just a matter of, him having the confidence that his team respects that he's not being selfish. He's playing the role that the team needs him to play, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and in the low post, Steve, you talked about the defense. How big a deal do you think Deron Davis is? I mean, he missed the final 16 games last season following an ankle or Achilles injury. He played just 6 minutes before appearing to tweak his ankle in this brief appearance. The junior big man scored 6 points but picked up 3 fouls in that time. How big of an impact do you think Davis could have on this team, Riz?
Oh, I think usually he's the best athlete on the team, or one of the best athletes on the team. And I think he's going to be able to guard people bigger than him. He's physical. He's strong. He's quick. He's going to be able to. Who are you talking about? Deron Davis.
You talking about Deron Davis? Our 6'10" guy he's not big and quick. He's big. He ain't quick.
I thought he moved well.
He has good footwork. He has really good footwork, but it's just not. He's not quick with it, and he's not athletic.
Okay, well, why do I bring up?
I'm liking Collin even more.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Oh, that's
great. Well, we're done with this. Tell people what your championship ring looks like.
Oh, here we go. This is the thing. When Risley has been caught,
response.
And anytime you get the response about a freaking championship ring, that is, he's hurt. And the thing is, this like a wounded bear.
I thought he played very athletic last night. I liked his action.
Okay.
So I'm fine with it. I mean, look what he's doing. I don't expect him to go out and play guard with the guards out there. He's going to be good in the paint, and you got Fissner in there right with him too. I thought I was impressed with our big man play. Indiana hasn't had good big man play since we had Cody Benson.
Oh, come on.
Cody, I guess you can throw Cody in there.
Are you serious?
Cody couldn't drive left to save his ass.
He didn't need to.
Until he got to the NBA. Once he got out of Crean's coaching ability, he went and learned to dribble left and learned to penetrate. But I would always say, if I was guarding Cody Zeller, I'd say force him left. Make him go to the hole and force him left. Take away his jump shot and force him to the hole left. He can't do it. He'll screw it up every time.
All right.
I was impressed with our inside play. Back to Juwan Morgan. Here's the thing. What impressed me about Juwan Morgan, what didn't impress me about him was he only got 7 shots off. That's the least amount of shots of any of the 5 starters got off. You can't have that. But Collin kind of alluded to that. He was 5 of 7 in the field, and that's the least amount of shots that any starter took on the field. The good news is we had 6 players in double figures.
Yeah.
What I took away right from the beginning was that if the other guys are not taking the pressure off him to score, Juwan's going to be easy to guard. Or at least he looked like it last night. And I thought he was a little out of sorts last night because I thought he wasn't really engaging into the game early into the game. I don't know what the deal was. Collin, you have better insight in that, and I'd like your take on that. But he's got to take more than 7 shots. And what he played, how many minutes did he play? He played 25 minutes, only 7 shots in 25 minutes. You're not going to win a Big Ten championship with your star All-American player taking 7 shots in 25 minutes. Now, he hit 5 of them. That's the good news. And the other good news to support him is we had 5 other kids in double figures besides him. So, but you're right, he's going to have to engage.
Scored 92 points?
Pardon?
What was scored 92 points or something like that?
Yeah.
1993.
Yeah, against a high school team.
Come on.
Right. It's all relative.
Wait a second.
It's all relative right now.
Is a hell of a lot better than a high school team, Steve.
Nah, not much.
They won 20 games last year. They're a D2 school with a bunch of scholarship players. And I will make this for Indiana will beat D1 schools worse than what they beat Southern Indiana.
I agree with that. There will be a couple.
I agree with that. Sure, that's an easy statement to make.
Really? Not when you just said they're a high school team. So you think there's a high school team out there that could beat a D1 school is what you're saying then?
I don't know. I haven't looked at all the high school teams.
Transitive property.
Transitive property. All right. Okay.
All right. I'm just saying you don't need to knock them. I mean, they're better than Marion. Next up, I want to get both of you's take on Romeo Langford because the 4 for 12 shooting is not what stands out to me. What stands out to me is he shot 4 for 12, but he still had a big impact on the game, except for the 5 turnovers. But, he picked up 5 rebounds, which last year we had forwards that didn't get 5 rebounds in a game, had 4 steals. I think, to me, he looked like he was pressing a little bit, Collin.
Yeah, I mean, the dude feels pressure. Whether he says it or not, the dude feels pressure. And the faster he can, get those butterflies out and just settle in and play his game and play within the team and do what's best for the team, which is him to take good shots, score, rebound, play defense. You break it down, it's simple, but obviously throughout the game it's very complex and hard. He just needs to, settle into his own. He'll be fine. It's not something to be freaking out about. He had a somewhat, not great shooting night. And the good thing about it, we have a bunch of guys around him that can make up for that. He did stuff that doesn't necessarily always show up on the stat sheet, and a lot of stuff that he did that you just mentioned. So it's just he just got to settle in. He'll be fine. He's got all the tangible skills and athleticism that you want in a freshman player, and he's got to settle in. He'll be fine.
Right, Steve?
I tell you what, I've been skeptical of Romeo Langford, not in a negative way, just skeptical because anytime anybody comes in that heralded, I'm just like, okay, I got to see it before I believe it. I was impressed with him last night. I thought he was trying to create shots. He made turnovers. I think trying to make things happen, not just dribbling off his foot and out of bounds. He was attacking the basket a lot. Shots weren't falling. That's going to happen to even the best shooters in the world. He was trying to score. He's looking for opportunities to score. His defensive perimeter play was outstanding. I walked away from that game being impressed with Romeo Langford and think, God, we're only going to have this kid 1 year. That was kind of my initial thought. Now, that's you don't speculate anything off of one exhibition game, but he's good, and he's a deal breaker for this basketball team right now. If you get him on an even-keeled flow, get him participating every week, and get Juwan being more assertive and more aggressive offensively, and you get Pfister playing as he played, I think you got a nucleus right there. McRoberts is going to give you that on the floor all the time effort every game. You're building a really good basketball team, and
Yeah.
I was impressed. Rob Finney, I was surprised. Surprised that he started, but Devontae was out. But he came in, and I thought there was a good mesh between him and Langford right off the bat. I think we're going to have one of the better backcourts in the Big Ten right off the bat.
All right. I pretty much touched on everything from this game that I could think of. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up?
I don't know. I think last night, with having Duran playing kind of limited minutes, having Juwan only playing 25 minutes, and, just guys not playing, they kind of went through the rotations a little bit, let guys get a little bit of playing time, get a feel for the rotations, just like I thought Coach Miller would. But come next week, they're going to hit the ground running and kind of figure out who they want in the games, crunch time, stuff like that. But I think last night just highlighted how much deeper than most people realize we are. And we kept reiterating it a couple weeks ago, over the last few weeks actually, about how much better we are going to be as a team when we have 4, 5, 6 guys in double figures. Because it doesn't matter who you guard or who you game plan for, you're going to have to make decisions on defense, and you're going to give up something. And when you have 5 guys on the court that can knock down open shots or, create plays, make good passes, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to guard. I don't care how good of a defensive team you are. The offense normally has the advantage just because the defense is 90% of the time reactionary. So it's just, it was encouraging to me to see those young guys really step up, make those shots, make good plays, and feel they looked comfortable out there for the most part. And I think it's a big step forward, and it's very encouraging.
All right, Steve.
Yeah, I was not expecting to see 6 players in double figures. To me, that tells me that they're very upfront and willing to share the basketball, which is critical for a team. Anytime you get 6 players who are in an exhibition game or trying to earn playing minutes and playing time, yet you get 6 players scoring in double figures, all of them within 14 to 10 points. That's a great sign for any coach coming in early into the season. You can put that many kids in double figures in the first game.
Yeah.
I think his bench is deep. Colin's right. He's going to be able to go as deep as he wants to go, put players in and go, which means he can run a lot. I thought they're breaking. In their first half especially, I thought they attacked the offense on a fast break well. They broke free. When they got the rebound and broke free, they pushed it up the court hard, and they scored a lot off of transition, which I liked. I really liked. There's more. I can find very few things to take away that I didn't like about the game, other than I like to see. I'm more of a defensive-minded player in the era that I played in, and we used to just let them pound people. And to me, blocking people out was an opportunity to knock somebody on their ass or take a cheap shot at somebody if I wanted to, or felt if I was in a bad mood. Well, it was. That's what it was. I mean, it was a chance to be physical. And that's what I was good at. That was my strength. And I didn't see a lot of that, and I really think I want to see them protect their house, the paint more. But their perimeter defense is solid, and they may not need to rely on that as much if they keep that perimeter defense going as well as they can. I can't take anything really negative away from this game. I thought they exceeded my expectations for what I thought I would see last night. What disappointed me was the crowd to begin with. Golly, the place is only half full at the start of the game. What's going on there?
They're playing Southern Indiana in a meaningless exhibition game?
Yeah, I know, but still, it's the first game of Romeo Langford and everything like that. I would have thought it'd be a better crowd. It filled up eventually, I guess, or people moved down, whatever. And then I had one other beef that kind of came up in the listening to the broadcast. You guys, obviously, if you didn't listen to the broadcast, you didn't hear it. Collin, address this, if I'm right or wrong. In my mentality, I don't like this. The announcer said he went to the student-only practice they had on the day before Halloween.
Yeah.
And he said that Coach Miller was out there telling the students to pick out one player and automatically boo them. You think that's cool?
What do you mean?
They were booing the one kid. He was coaching the students to come out and boo an opposing player.
Yeah.
Okay, now, if the crowd does that, I'm all about that. That's the spirit of being a fan of college basketball. But should a coach be out there saying that and doing that?
Well, how about this? Let me ask you this. I want to ask you this, Steve, because you are a man that just a couple minutes ago was talking about taking a cheap shot on somebody. Now you're mad because the coach told somebody to boo somebody.
Well, the coach that night never told me to take a cheap shot on anybody.
But you did.
He never told. I just
and you were all right with you doing it. But now,
I'm all right
if
the fans do it. I'm okay if the fans do it. If the student section gets up and says they're going to pick on a player because the player did something stupid or did something stupid come in the game, I'm fine with it. But I just don't know that a coach should be encouraging his fans to do that. It's just, in my era, I remember the 3 or 4 times at night and his wife got on the microphone, and Mike, you can attest to this, and told crowds not to do that. That we don't act that way.
I don't remember it with the booing. I remember it with people, throwing stuff
chanting,
on the court, chanting,
throwing stuff.
Bullshit or whatever it was. I do remember that. But
I knew we'd run out of things to talk about because I knew we'd all be impressed with the way they played, so I wanted to bring something else up. I personally not real. I mean, it's not going to change anything in the way they play. I just didn't like when the announcer said that Miller coached the student fans to pick out a player every game and boo them. And let the kids do it on their own.
I mean, they're going to do it anyways. But at the end of the day, I kind of find that hard to. Yeah, and I kind of find it, to be honest with you, hard to believe that Coach Miller would say that. But even if he did,
the announcer said it was a local broadcast, somebody from the IDS or an IU student reporter doing the game because it was just Big Ten plus.
Right.
And he said he was at the practice and said Coach Miller actually got up, went over to the student section, and told him to do that.
You sure they weren't just playing around because they were bored because it was a practice?
Maybe so. I mean, but they were particularly
guess.
booing one player. I can't remember who the player was they were booing. It was their star player, Alex Stein. Every time he touched the ball, it was massive boos. Pardon?
Well, it's I mean, at the end of the day, it's good for right, but it's good for him to interact with the students. It's good for the kid that got booed to be in an environment like that, just because that's probably going to be his normal attendance for the rest of the season, if not less. From the exhibition game, so he's never going to experience anything harder.
That's what's great. That's why our show is different than every other show. We get 2 different eras, 2 different perspectives.
Right.
In our era, we would never do that. We didn't worry about our opponents. We just did what we had to do.
Well, once again, I would say he's probably joking around with the kids.
Well, they booed like hell every time the kid touched the ball.
Well, then you know what? He did the right thing. Screw him. Screw Southern Indiana.
Okay.
All right? We know what Southern Indiana and the Screaming Eagles represent. And as Indiana Hoosiers, we're not going to stand for it anymore. And we bludgeoned them last night. We booed him. That kid will have – he's probably going to have nightmares about this night for the rest of his life. The night he got booed.
No, he's
because
not.
He's
it's not a reflection
Eagle.
on the kid. It's a reflection on our program. It's more of a reflection on our program that if they announce publicly that a coach says to go do that, I just don't think the coach should be involved in telling players or fans to go boo a certain player. Let the fans figure it out for themselves.
Well, maybe it's fake news.
That's
now,
all.
The question is
it's
this.
A small news.
The next
fake
game
news.
they played is Chicago State Cougars. Who would you boo on the Chicago State Cougars? I can tell you this. The Chicago State Cougars are ranked 13th in Illinois. Now, unfortunately for them, there's 13 teams
in Illinois.
There's 13 universities in Illinois, aren't there?
Illinois. Now, last year they were 3-29. 3-29. They ranked 351st in college basketball. Unfortunately for them, there's 351 teams in college basketball. Last year they started off the season against Iowa and lost 95-62. That game was so close you'd think Steve Alford was still at Iowa. Then Purdue was 111-42. But then they did have 3 solid wins against something called Silver Lake, who they beat Silver Lake 101-53. So it makes you wonder what they're doing at Silver Lake. And then they beat something called East West 113-65. And then they lost like 20 straight games until they beat Missouri at Kansas City 96-82. So isn't it just kind of piling on to boo one of the Chicago State kids?
See, I'm going to get hate mail on that, and I'm going to get told I'm a fuddy-duddy prude and I'm a jerk for saying it. That's okay.
Saying what? That they shouldn't boo?
They shouldn't. The coach should not direct players, the fans, to boo players.
You know what? If Indiana wins 23-24 games this year, Archie Miller can direct him to do whatever he wants, because you know what? At least so far, from what we've heard, he has not done near the stuff that Bill Self has done or Roy Williams has done or Sean Miller has done. So as long as he's not doing that, telling a kid to boo anymore, I'm good with it.
All right. Okay. I knew you guys wouldn't agree with me when I wrote it down.
Well, because this is the thing. Number one.
I thought,
Number one, I don't know what a fuddy-duddy is, but when I look at your picture, I'm thinking, yeah, that's probably what it is. Number two, I just don't really care. And number three, I still don't care. Collin, you got anything else to add to this awesome show?
No, I think it was good. I'm excited for Tuesday. See him play again. I just think it's going to be a very good season. I think we have a good team and a lot of depth, and I think that's our biggest advantage.
Yeah, the only concern I see right now, Collin, is with the injuries to Devontae Green, Durham, and, of course, you got Deron Davis recovering. So you got a few guys out there. I don't think it's anything, at least it doesn't look like anything serious to keep these guys out for an inordinate amount of time. But right now, it's the only drawback I see.
Well, I think obviously you're coming off, getting ready for games, and right now practices are a little more competitive, and they're going to start to slow down a little less 5-on-5 so much all the time, and taking care of guys' bodies more. So the whole summer and everything leading up to this is a lot of competing, seeing where guys stand, getting after it, and now you're actually going to get the opportunity to obviously play against other teams and kind of take care of your team and take care of your bodies and stuff like that. So I don't think it's obviously, like you said, anything should be major, but we're deep enough. So
Collin.
Yep.
Collin, what are you looking for to see some improvement in Tuesday?
What am I looking for improvement-wise?
To see some improvement. What do you think Coach Miller's working on between now and Tuesday?
I think he's working on narrowing down how many players he's going to play.
Really?
I think that he's going to – I still believe that he'll keep it around 8 or 9, 10 being tops. There's obviously a balance there. You have to try to keep guys happy and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, everybody has the same opportunity to earn the minutes in practice and in games. But I know he likes to keep a relatively short rotation. But I don't know. I don't know if he's ever had a team this deep. So he might experiment and play around with it and see. Like you said earlier, Steve, if they want to run and gun a little bit, they can play 10, 11 guys, get a good rotation, keep everybody fresh. But, you get a guy that's hot, you got to keep him in there. You get a couple guys that's hot, it's going to mess up your rotation and everything like that. So it's going to be cool and interesting to see throughout the season how many guys he gets up to playing throughout the game.
All right.
Yeah, okay. I got three things here. No, I'm there. Three things. I don't see any fallacy or any flaw in having a 10-man rotation if you have 10 players that can contribute. You always want to keep in a game. If you're more concerned about keeping players happy than you are winning ball games, you might as well be coaching the parents. And you might as well let the parents sit right behind the bench and not up in the stands where they belong.
Right.
So, I think if he can get 10 players that he can rotate in and out and play, he can attack and attack and attack and attack and play his defensive prowess that he wants to and just run people into the ground because he's got the perimeter guys to do it. And so if he can keep a 10-man rotation, I disagree with you there. Boy, if you can run a 10-man rotation, you're a unique factor in college basketball because there's not many
guys
teams
that got minutes last night.
Other guys got minutes?
Yeah,
1, 2,
just out
3,
of
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players got minutes. Now, Blackman and Moore only got 2 and 3 minutes. And then from there, 7 minutes was about the least of anybody. Deron Davis got in foul trouble, only got 6. But for the most part, everybody was in double figures in minutes. So he's playing 8, 9 guys right now. And you got to figure Davis is going to give him more minutes without getting into foul trouble. I think it's a blessing. If you can get a 10-man rotation, why the hell would you not play a 10-man rotation?
Well, you got Devontae and Al and stuff. I mean, those guys.
Yeah, you still got 2 guys to drop in there that are going to get major minutes.
Yeah,
that are going to play. So I think that's number one. Number 2, I hope he's talking to Juwan and just showing Juwan on film that, Juwan, we can't survive with you only taking 7 shots a game. That you've got to be taking double-digit shots every game. That you've got to be looking to get your offense, get engaged in the offense. I felt like he wasn't really engaging in the offense at first. Then he started to engage, and he hit 5 of them. I mean, he hit 5 of 7. So he's a scorer, there's no doubt, but you're not going to survive through a full Big Ten season with your star player only getting 7 shots a game. Now, again, it's one game. I'm not going to say that's a problem at this point in time. I just think that if I was doing films today, which I'm sure they are, I would probably have a conversation with him about, hey, you realize you only took 7 shots. And you did that. You did that with 25 minutes of playing time out of a 40-minute game. We can't have you taking 7 shots in 25 minutes and be successful. That's the other thing I would talk about. Thirdly, I would say we need to have our post defense match our perimeter defense. I would applaud the perimeter good defense right now. I'd go and I would highlight those kids in film right away and say, you got a great job, keep it up, keep going. I would put Zach McRoberts in charge of that perimeter defense, get him out there, and keep encouraging our point guards and our guards to just be attack-oriented. But I would look at our post defense and say, you guys have got to get stronger inside because they're taking risks out there. And we are so quick perimeter-wise, we want our guards taking risks. I want to see Langford go for the steals like he did, and Finney both. They both attacked and went for steals. Now, when you do that, if you don't get it, then all of a sudden you've taken a player out of play defensively real quick. Now you've got a 5-on-4 situation, so your post defense is going to shore up a little bit real quick. I would be discussing that with my team right now, and those are the 3 takeaways I would take. I said I wasn't going to talk about takeaways, but those are the 3 things I would coach going into Tuesday's game. Say, hey, we have opportunity now before we get into playing in the Gavitt games against Marquette or Louisville. We can adjust these things right now. So let's focus Tuesday on our post defense. Let's focus Tuesday on getting Juwan the ball more in scoring position. Let's be looking for him. And let's get our post defense blocking out better and to match our perimeter defense because our perimeter defense is solid. And that's probably the conversation I would be having.
All righty. Anybody got anything else before we wrap it up?
I'm good.
All right, guys. We will be back. When are we coming back, Steve? We're going to come back after the first game next week?
We'll come back at our normal time Wednesday. You just want to do Wednesday?
Wednesday
night? Yeah, let's come back.
8 o'clock Eastern time, Wednesday night.
Hey, I also want to know today, I just got a text from my friend. Today is Ted Kitchell's birthday.
Happy birthday.
So for all of you that are listening, today I texted him, and he just texted me back as we're speaking right now and said thank you, which is the 2 most words he's ever said to me in my life. But today is Ted Kitchell's birthday, so everybody out there in Hoosier land that's listening, say happy birthday in your mind to Ted Kitchell, one of the greatest shooters in all time of Indiana basketball. Collin Hartman could have been right up there with him, took his number, just didn't want to take shots.
Well, in Collin's defense, they didn't play him enough.
You know what? Knight would have said about you, Hartman? He would have said, if I could have put Kitchell's mind in your body, I'd have had an All-American.
Because that's what he used to tell Risley.
No, that's what he used to tell Ray Tolbert.
Except for the potty.
He used to go to Ray Tolbert and say, Tolbert, if I could put Grunwald's mind in your body, I'd have
did Knight ever want to put
there.
your mind in somebody's body?
No, nobody wanted anything to do with
Did
that.
you ever want to put your body in a different mind, or?
Mike, I am a self-made failure. Okay. I am a
Give
self-made
yourself more credit than that, Steve.
Come on, Steve.
You're right. I am a tremendous slouch. Thank you, Judge Schmales.
Anytime you can play at a school like Lawrence Central and be the second highest scoring player of all time, that's pretty good.
I'm the highest scoring player of all time in my era, and the all-time leading scorer of any era.
What's your era?
I'm just not the all-time leading scorer of Kyle Guy's era.
The horse and buggy era, Steve Risley leads. Everything after that, modern times, it's Kyle Guy. Olden days,
Colin, are you the
Steve
all-time
Risley.
leading scorer at Cathedral?
Negative.
No, you didn't touch Kenny Barlow, did you? You didn't get near Kenny Barlow.
Negative.
Kenny Barlow's got to be the league scorer of all time. Is he the all-time league scorer at Cathedral?
I don't know. Him or Scott Hicks. I don't know.
Kenny Barlow's a hell of a guy. I follow him on Twitter. He's a class act all the way around, too.
He's awesome, dude.
Made a great career at playing in Europe. Made a lot of money over there. Had a great career and just an all-around great guy.
He was the stud on the team that lost in the Final Four to Plymouth and Scott Skiles, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was on the team that lost to Aurora, too. So we all have our
I just
problems,
asked a question.
Like,
I wasn't making a statement. I was just asking if he was on that team.
I don't know. I don't know where he was. When did he play? He played after me, didn't he?
I thought he would have been in the
playing
early 80s. Let's see. I'm on here, career leading scorers in Indiana basketball history, and I do not see Steve Risley.
No, 1,600 points.
Oh, boy.
It doesn't go that low. It doesn't go that low.
It doesn't go that low. It goes to 1765.
You got the Chuck, right. You got the Chuck Francis of the world that went to Clarksville High School and took 9,000 shots and scored 2,500 points.
And the bad thing is, if we had him on the show, you wouldn't be able to say, "Do you have a ring, Chuck?" Because he does.
No, I couldn't say that to him. Yeah, I couldn't because he's got one.
Yeah, because you and Isaiah won it for him.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
Oscar Robertson only had 1,800 total points.
Yeah, no, it's a different game back then.
Yeah, that's back in the olden days when you played, Steve. All right, guys.
Still the greatest.
What?
Still the greatest player ever to come out of Indiana high school basketball.
No, he's
Oscar
not.
Robertson.
No, he's not. Larry Bird.
Yeah, he is.
Larry Bird.
No.
You're a fool.
No.
Come on.
Oscar Robertson.
Larry Bird.
Now you're going to get hate mail from that, Steve.
It's Larry Bird.
Who, me?
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
Gonna get hate mail?
You know what?
Really, I'm going to get
I've met Oscar Robertson before, and I'm pretty sure if he heard this, he would give me hate mail because he's not the nicest guy in the world.
He's tough to deal with. There's no doubt about that, but I respect that. That's fine.
Yeah, he was a great player. He's the second greatest player in Indiana basketball history. But you can't put anybody that ever played in Indiana above Larry Bird except maybe Kyle Guy.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Did Larry Bird ever average a triple-double for an entire season in the NBA? Nope. No, he didn't.
Let me ask you this.
No, he didn't.
Did Oscar Robertson ever win more than one world championship? No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Did Oscar Robertson play with anybody other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar while Bird surrounded himself with some of the greatest talent ever to play the game in the 80s?
Wait a second now. He was on the Cincinnati Royals in the mid-'60s, which had Dave Twyman.
He won 2 national championships while he was there, too.
Jerry Lucas.
Beat 2 Ohio State teams back-to-back with Lucas, Havlicek, and Knight.
Who did?
Cincinnati.
Robertson? You're full of crap. Oscar Robertson never won a national championship in college basketball.
Oh, they lost to Ohio
Oscar
State.
Robertson played. No. Oscar Robertson played on the 59 team that lost in the Final Four to Cal. But he graduated in 60. UC won it all in 61 and 62 without him.
Oh, so he wasn't on the team.
63,
right.
They lost to Jerry Harkness and Loyola in double overtime, 63 to 62. And in Colin, today on Survive and Advance, Steve tried to say he knew a lot more about basketball than me.
You're Googling stuff there, Mike.
I'm not
There's
Googling
no way you remember those scores.
I'm not Googling anything.
All.
I'm not Googling anything. How could I Google that quickly?
How do you remember those scores from those days?
Yeah, really.
Because when I was little, and instead of reading reading math books,
wait a minute, when you were little, were you born in 1960?
Huh? No, but
when
see,
were
this
you
is
born?
the thing. I was born in 1968. All great Americans were born in 1968. A lot of great Americans were. A lot of great Americans died in 1968. But I can sit here and I can recite anything you want about the great game of Indiana high school basketball or the 1940
Because you've got
Indiana
a fast
Hoosiers.
processor on your computer and can
Dude,
Google fast.
I am not looking at a computer. I promise you.
So Oscar never won a national championship? I thought he did.
No. He lost it 59. Was it Jerry West that beat him? I don't remember. I think they lost to either Cal or West Virginia in the Final Four.
Teams. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I know Cincinnati beat Ohio State twice.
Yeah, and actually both games were huge upsets. And then in 63, Jerry Harkness was the MVP. But if you remember, Loyola beating UC in 63 was similar to NC State beating Houston because nobody thought Loyola had a chance. Nobody had even heard of Loyola Chicago before.
Yeah.
So yes, don't doubt my knowledge ever again, Stephen.
Okay, we don't.
Well, let's wrap it up.
Final thought.
Hey, Colin, the stuff that I Google.
Thumbs up or thumbs down on IU?
The stuff that I Google, Colin,
thumbs up.
is stuff that is recent because
Mike, thumbs up or thumbs down on IU last night?
Sideways.
Sideways. I'm thumbs up.
Yeah,
big time.
they played Southern Indiana. I mean, they did what they're supposed to do.
I understand who they were playing, but I looked to see what Indiana could do, what they were doing within themselves, and I liked what I saw.
Yeah, I would say thumbs up just because Durham and Devontae Green did not play, and I think both of those guys could be huge. And the way the three freshmen played, this team will be fine.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys one final question.
I thought the last time you asked us one
crap right now. Not that it matters for anything, because it never matters for anything right now. I despise these kinds of questions, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Should Indiana be ranked right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because half the polls are not ranked.
Yeah, but you know what? Half the poll, or all the polls, are done by sports writers that don't have a clue what they're talking about. When you look at this roster,
Thank you.
There's no way not to rank them. I mean, you got Juwan Morgan. You got one of the top 5 players in high school coming out. You got Finney Anderson, Devontae Green. But this is the thing. This is what's going to happen until Indiana proves it. Because it's been a long time since Indiana has been considered an upper echelon program. And upper echelon programs get the benefit of the doubt at the start of the season. In the long run, it's not going to matter if Indiana's ranked or not right now.
No, I know it doesn't.
Yeah. It matters at the end.
I'm just trying to have conversation.
Yeah, and I hate people that ask questions like that. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, well, I have a question. Mike, you said all sports writers are kind of stupid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're primary owner of this website. Mm-hmm. You don't do much of anything else except part-time coach a high school football team.
So
since you own the site,
I privately coach like multiple, NFL players. But
you're a sports writer, so are you saying you can? I would say number one vocation for you is a sports writer.
I'm not a sports writer. I'm a football coach.
You're a journalist. You just did a couple shows. I've done 2 shows with you today.
And you've also written multiple articles, so that would lump you in
I consider myself a sports writer. So you saying that I'm stupid?
Yeah.
You don't want the answer to that. No, I knew it.
I just trying to lob one up there for you.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we'll see you Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Wednesday
at Mike. Get us out of here.
Unless you want to do 6 o'clock.
Well, 5 o'clock my time.
All right, guys. We will see you Wednesday night at 8 o'clock on the Indiana.
I have to go back out to the pool and put more suntan lotion on.
I mean, I hate
and lay around.
The worst thing in the world, Kyle, is when I start to do the exit for the show or to wrap up, and then some moron, fuddy-duddy idiot that played in prehistoric days just starts talking randomly about his dogs or his pool or the fact that he wishes there would be a thunderstorm where he lives. All right, guys, if you want to hear any more of these great tidbits from the immortal Steve Risley, you can hear it Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern on the Indiana Basketball Weekly Show. You can follow us on Twitter at, the Grueling Hoops. I don't know why it's just not an Indiana Basketball Weekly Show thing, but that's what it is.
I'll change it. I'm going to change it. I'll change it right now. And
the Indiana Basketball Weekly Facebook page, which, of course, I created, so it fits with the name of the show. You can
No. I created that. You didn't create that. I created that.
Come on. Finish it up. Wrap it up.
I created that because I added you as an administrator, so I don't even want to hear it. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. You can hear all the shows on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher. Wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Collin Hartman, Fuddy Duddy, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.